Hello everybody, this is Yoko Cinema Reactions, and this is going to be my review for My Hero Academia Season 6, Episode 13. We get some backstory on Mr. Compress, and is Mr. Compress's quirk involving, the orbs and the sleight of hand and stuff? If so, that's a pretty cool quirk, but if not, let me know. Anyway, this ends the fight between Shigaraki and everybody else, and next episode starts the Dark Deku arc. And also in this episode, Deku starts to use another of the quirks from one of the other 9 users. Or, I should say 6 users, because him and All Might don't have quirks, and the first original user's quirk was a stockpiling quirk, or a ability to pass on quirks, so it wasn't really a quirk you can use. So, the quirk Midoriya ends up unlocking. I didn't really notice this last episode, but apparently he ended up using it. And it's the 4th user's quirk. And you guys all know that Bakugo had mentioned this to All Might in a previous episode, the Bakugo one where he pushed Midoriya out of the way, where he mentioned that the info on the 4th user was missing or something on how they died. And he was trying to find out from All Might what the heck, why was that information missing? Like, why was he trying to hide it? And he said he wasn't sure. He had, like, a theory, but he didn't want to mention it until he'd figured it out. I don't know what they were talking about, obviously, but his quirk is the one that Midoriya is starting to use, which was Danger Sense. Essentially like a Spidey sense, if you're wanting to think like Spider-Man, because Deku's kind of already like Spider-Man with the Black Whip, being able to swing from buildings and stuff with it. You kind of can say it's like a Spidey sense, essentially. However, this quirk, it causes him pain, essentially, because whenever it pops up, it feels essentially like someone stabbing him in the brain, essentially, is what it feels like to him. And if he's not careful, it'll knock him out. And while this is going on, Mr. Compress decides that enough is enough. We are not going to sit by and do this. And he decides to try and be a diversion so the others can get away. And he ends up damaging himself. So I'm guessing his quirk is that sleight of hand thing, now that I'm thinking about it, because he, in order to be able to get free of the ropes that were binding him, he used that sleight of hand thing where he made things disappear. He made a good chunk of his side disappear to be able to get free. And he kept doing it as he went on to avoid either getting caught or to give the others a chance, because he used the orb thing on Spinner and Shigaraki, and then he did it on Dabi and the long-haired guy. And essentially, he revealed that his I think what was it, great-great-great-grandfather was a vigilante back before the hero system was implemented that would steal from the rich, and he would give the spoils to the poor, essentially. Kind of like a Robin Hood type thing. And yes, that is technically good, but it's also bad because he's stealing, so it's kind of a gray area there. This ends up, like, crippling Mr. Compress at this point. And Spinner manages to wake up Shigaraki, though, by, taking one of the hands that had somehow survived the inferno that had, burnt them all up in the first place, and, stuck it on his face like he did before, and Shigaraki kind of wakes up, but it's not Shigaraki in control. It's All For One in control. And it looks like freaking All For One, too, with the way, the face. I'm like, what the fuck? Anyway, Spinner's trying to get him to give orders as to what the heck they're supposed to do, And I was thinking that if Shigaraki wakes up, all he has to do is jump down and use that decay quirk of his, and everybody will die, because most everybody is essentially incapacitated at this point or can barely move. And the very few that are even able to fly at this point won't be enough to be able to get everybody out of the way safely. So most likely they would all end up dead. How he would keep it from killing Midoriya, I don't know, because he wants that quirk. But instead of fighting, he tells everybody that we are going to withdraw, which is what he was wanting to do in the first place when, dang it, which episode was it? Episode 10, I think it was, where they went into that, where we saw Nana Shimura and the original holder of One for All helping out Deku. But anyway, but Spinner tells them, wait, why are we withdrawing? Gigantomachia is out cold, and Toga hasn't gotten here yet. And he didn't even mention what happened to Twice, which I don't know how Shigaraki would react to that, to be honest. But he tells them this is going to be Tomura's punishment for essentially, you know, not listening. That he's going to end up leaving comrades behind because Shigaraki wouldn't do that, essentially, apparently. According to Spinner, anyway. And we also got to see what the League of Villains had been up to when the whole overhaul thing finished. And they were essentially going to steal from other bad groups, I guess you could say, other villain groups. Targeting another, like I said, another little villain group that apparently is discriminatory against people with heterochromia looking quirks, you know, like how Spinner looks and how some of the other characters look. And obviously they killed them all. But sadly they didn't have much of anything to steal because they were trying to get funds to be able to live, essentially. And essentially, Spinner brought up a good point to Shigaraki, like, why are we doing all this? What is our goal? Because he only joined because he got inspired by Stain and what he stands for. Anyway, All for One ends up calling for the Nomu to come and get them because, you know, Gigantomachia can't really do anything. He's out cold. And the others try to stop them from leaving because, well, they can't afford to let these guys get away. And they end up getting their butts handed to them. Midoriya tries to go after them and ends up getting his butt kicked. Though obviously not fatal because he still wants the quirk and he can't take it if he's dead. So, yeah, now the battle is over. And we're going to be getting into the aftermath of what happened during this battle. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time.